you have movies about movies, like actual Hollywood or film productions looking at film productions, but I feel like in the discussion you could also include documentaries about films.
I
And
think I know what you're going to mention.
do you? Well, I wanted to definitely give a shout out to American Movie. I don't know
There
if you,
you go.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen American Movie?
I finally saw it a couple months ago. It was one you had mentioned many, many times, talked about how much you loved it. I'd seen clips of it and thought it looked great. And I finally managed to see it. It was on the Criterion channel briefly a few months ago, and I managed to catch it. And yeah, it doesn't disappoint. It's a great movie.
I think the best way to experience American Movie is just to kind of just watch it, because I think it's so surprisingly entertaining, because when you hear the premise, it's like, okay, it's following a no budget filmmaker, thinking like, what state is he in? He's kind of in like a Midwest state, really no resources. There's no like film community there. He is trying to get his independent film made, and it just sort of follows his trials and tribulations of getting his short film made. And it sounds just kind of like, okay, there's millions of examples of that occurring in history, but I think what makes American Movie extremely watchable and endearing are the principal people, the characters. They're like poetic in how they express themselves in such a particular hilarious way. It's probably, in terms of documentaries, the most quotable documentary I could possibly think of, because every line is something of like, God, how you couldn't write something that good, like what he just said right there. There's so many things just ingrained in my brain of the back and forths that Mark, the director, and his friend Mike would say, like, as they're creating things. It's just so perfect. Like the moment I just think about all the time. I love it. It just makes me laugh constantly. Is when they have the film made and they're trying to like spread word about it that it's going to screen at a local theater. And so Mark has printed out all of these flyers, like, all right, I need you. He's talking to Mike. He's like, I need you to go around town, put these flyers up, because we need people to show up to the screening and see this movie, and we need to make our money back. You got it? And Mike is like, okay, let's do it. And he's like, all right, let's go. And Mark walks off, or Mike walks off, and Mark is like, Mike, where are you going? You didn't take any flyers with you. And then he comes like, oh, sorry, okay, and he like grabs a stack of flyers and goes on. It's like, oh, it's so, you can't write a moment that perfect, of just like so excited to help, and then just like immediately cause like there's an error, like, oh man, there's just so many perfect moments, like human kind of moments in the movie, that I think it's just kind of, dude, it's one that you watch and you're just kind of amazed constantly of like, man, I can't believe these are real people. Like it's the kind of like characters that are so involving and engaging and real. I mean, like, it's not all just kind of funny stuff. I think Mark is like a real sympathetic figure, and that he's really struggling, and he's at kind of a point in his life that he really kind of needs to make something work, because he's kind of falling down some dark paths of alcoholism, of severe debt, and kind of all these scary questions about, what am I going to be able to do with my life? What options are available to me right now? It's real kind of big questions in life that the movie tackles effectively. And Mark, through his own expression, like how he's able to sort of describe his own situation and what he's thinking and feeling, he's a great subject, because he's very articulate about what he's going through, and is able just to really make you feel what his decisions, like what the implications of what he's trying to do really are, and what's kind of floating around in his mind. It's great movie. I've seen it many times, and it just never gets old.